In the last day's class, we had done limiting molar conductance, that is the maximum conductance when the dilution is maximum, infinite dilution, isn't it? So at infinite dilution, the maximum conductance is obtained, and that is called limiting molar conductance. The factors on which it depends, we had done, then we did Paul-Laurent's law, okay, that is the limiting molar conductance is the sum of the conductance, limiting molar conductance of the ions, isn't it? So that we had done. Then we saw some applications also. There are two main applications which you have already seen, and then we did some numericals on that. So we did numericals on this law and the previous things also. Once we completed this, then we did some numericals related to Faraday's law also. Okay, so till there you had done, isn't it? So electrolytic cells, that part we have completely finished. All about electrolytic cells we have done. So today we'll be starting with galvanic cells. Okay, so we are talking about galvanic cells. I have told you before also something about galvanic cells. Electrolytic cell, it was, you are converting electrical energy into chemical energy, but here it is just the opposite. So when I take a galvanic cell, then in a galvanic cell, the first thing you can say is chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. Is converted into chemical energy. Chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. Clear? We'll carry out some reactions, and on the basis of that reactions, we'll see it will be converted into electricity. Whatever energy of the reaction is there, that will produce electricity. So this happens in case of battery, you know, batteries, your pencil battery or your inverter batteries, car batteries, all those batteries, what they do, they convert some chemical energy into electrical energy. Clear? When the batteries are formed, some chemicals are packed in it. Those chemicals, they react, and when they react, some electricity is produced. Okay, so this is your first thing. Another thing which I have told you on the first day only is, in this also, the type of reaction which we take is redox reactions. So redox reactions occur. So inside a galvanic cell also, we have redox reaction taking place. Clear? And the third point, since redox reaction is taking place at one point, there will be oxidation, and at the other one it will be reduction. Clear? So here the oxidizing electrode is the anode. Always remember this, the oxidizing electrode is the anode, and the reducing electrode is the cathode. So anode and cathode, these are the two ends where oxidation and reduction are taking place. Yeah. For this, we need two electrodes. One is the anode and one is the cathode. So if we want to take these electrodes, then what I need, I'll take a liquid. Look here. I'll take a container. In this container, I'll take a particular electrolyte. So this is filled with a liquid, isn't it? And in this liquid, I'll dip a metal rod. So here I'm going to dip a metal rod. Okay, so this metal rod contains metal atoms, and the solution contains metal ions. Clear? So here when I take this, then how we are selecting these two things? If I take this, suppose for example, if I take zinc rod, I'm taking a zinc rod, then in the solution must contain zinc ion. Zinc and zinc ion. Clear? One is the metal, other one is the ion. Clear? So zinc ion must be present, means it could be zinc sulfate, zinc nitrate, zinc chloride, any solution like this, they will contain this ion. These two ions, they are in contact with each other. The two things are in contact. If I take this point, you see this point, this is the point of contact, isn't it? Above this or below this, it is not there, only this part. So this point of contact, wherever they are in contact with each other, the iron and the metal, this is your interface, or you can say junction. Okay, interface or junction, and this is the place where the exchange of ions are taking place. The reaction occurs at this point. Okay, so reaction occurs at this point. This is the site for the reaction to occur. The reaction is occurring at this point, isn't it? Now, what will happen? What type of reaction occurs? That we have to know. We have already said oxidation or reduction. That means redox reaction will take place. So when this redox reaction takes place, the exchange of ions are taking place at that interface, isn't it? So what type of exchange can take place? For that, I'll just take it like this. Look here, this metal, the metal rod, if I take, if I just expand it, I'm just showing it what can be present inside the metal rod. You take the metal rod, inside the metal rod, what is there? Zinc, means all of them, they are made up of zinc. Lots of zinc will be there. They are all made up of zinc atoms. But zinc atoms, how do they attract? How do these attract? Tell me. The zinc and zinc are held together inside the metal rod. Initially, when you take the beginning, it is neutral, isn't it? But these atoms are held together. I have told you what type of reaction takes place here. All of them, all these zinc, they lose their electron. That means all of them, they are converted into Zn2 plus. When we did solids, we studied about this. All these, they lose electron. That means they will become like this, Zn2 plus, isn't it? Now this Zn2 plus should repel, because all of them, they contain positively charged, isn't it? So positive charge means positive and positive should repel. But that positive, in between this positive, what is present? Lots of electron. Each one has given out electron. So these electrons are the ones which are scattered here and there. So whatever repulsion was there because of these electrodes, they are now converted into attractions. Clear? So there are lots of free electrons which are moving here and there. Okay, there are lots of electrons and there are lots of ions also. So this is something which is on the metal rod. This type of bonding, what do you call it? What do you call this type of bonding? It is called metallic bonding. All the electrons are kept loose, they are moving from one shell to another. With its metallic crystals, there you have already seen. This one is neutral. There is an attraction between the metal ion and the electron. They are together, isn't it? Now, what actually happens here is like this. When we take this outside, what do you have? Zinc ion, isn't it? So that zinc ion outside is Zn2 plus, that is in the solution. This comes, it strikes here. So what can happen when the zinc ion from the solution strikes there? What are the things which can happen? If I consider that, then in that case, what is happening? Look here, two things can occur. As we have already said, it could be oxidation or it could be reduction, isn't it? So what can happen? Look here, if I take this, then in this case it will be like this. I've just taken the metal rod, I've dipped it in the solution, isn't it? Zinc and zinc ions, same thing, we have taken it here. Okay, okay. Now what can happen? Look here, this zinc which is going from outside, Zn2 plus, it collides, and when it collides on the metal rod, there are plenty of electrons. So suppose the zinc goes and it takes away both these electrons and comes. So what will happen? In this case, what you can say, Zn2 plus was there, it is going to gain 2 electrons and then it becomes Zn neutralized, isn't it? So Zn2 plus, when you are taking, where is this coming from? Zn2 plus is coming from solution, isn't it? This the 2 electrons were on the metal rod. So from the metal rod they are going here. So this is from metal rod. This goes out, isn't it? So when this goes out, what actually happens on the metal rod? The metal rod is losing 2 electrons. Metal rod loses 2 electrons. So the metal rod becomes positive. The metal rod has lost 2 electrons. It becomes positive, and the solution, the zinc is gaining 2 electrons. So the solution becomes negative. The solution is becoming negative and the metal rod becomes positive. If this reaction takes place, the reaction which I have written here, this is just one of the possibilities. Clear? So if I take this possibility is reduction, isn't it? Gain of electron has taken place. Gain of electron has taken place means it is reduction. So this electrode which we are forming is only a part where the reduction you can see. So this is reduction half cell. This will give you the reduction half cell, and wherever reduction takes place, that point, what do you call it? where reduction occurs. Which point? If I show you here, reducing electrode, that is the cathode. So suppose this reaction takes place, that means this is the one which forms the cathode. Clear? So this one is your cathode. If this reaction takes place, this forms cathode. Is it clear? This is one possibility. Another possibility, what can happen, is this. Look here. The second possibility, on the metal rod, what do you have? You have zinc, isn't it? Zn2 plus is there, and this Zn2 plus is neutralized because the electrons are here only. The electrons it has, which are just there only, isn't it? Now what can happen here is this zinc Zn2 plus, which was neutral on this, when it was on the metal rod, it was associated with the 2 electrons. So this suppose comes out and goes into the solution. This comes out from the metal rod and goes into the solution. This can also happen, isn't it? So if this happens, it can be written like this way. Look here, I'm just writing here Zn. This was on the metal rod. When it was on the metal rod, it was neutral. It is giving out its electron, and when it gives out its electrons, it goes Zn2 plus, it goes into the solution. So here if I say this is from metal rod, isn't it? This goes into solution, and this is left on the metal rod. This is left on the metal rod. So what happens here? In this case, if I compare this with the previous one, what has happened? This is a second possibility, isn't it? This is your metal rod, this is your solution in which you have dipped it. From the metal rod, the zinc goes, it leaves 2 electrons. That means on the metal rod you have 2 extra electrons are there. That means the metal rod now becomes negative, and the zinc ion goes into the solution, means the ion is becoming positive. So the solution now becomes positive. So metal rod is negative, solution becomes positive. So here this was loss of electrons. Loss of electron is giving you oxidation, isn't it? So if this occurs, this is another half shell, this is oxidation half cell, and this gives you anode. Oxidation means it has to be anode. So if it is anode, this reaction is excuse me, this reaction is taking place on anode, and the previous one, cathode, was taking place. Clear? So one, you can see it is oxidized, other one it is reduced. So one gives rise to cathode, the other one gives rise to anode. In cathode, the metal rod becomes positive and the solution becomes negative. In anode, the metal rod becomes negative and the solution becomes positive. So in either case, a potential difference is developed, whether it is the oxidation part or reduction part. This won't take place at the same time. In one electrode it is oxidized, then other electrode will be reduced, isn't it? So this is just an example how it takes place, and this is your explanation how it was happening, that I told you, isn't it? So this part is not very important. Oxidation, what it produces, and reduction, what it produces, that is more important. Clear? So once you got this, in both the cases you are getting some charges which are developed on the metal rod and the electrolyte. Some charges, potential difference is developed between them, and that potential difference we call it electrode potential. Clear? That potential difference is called electrode potential. Electrode potential we write E. Clear? And this E can be because of oxidation, or E can be because of reduction. You can see that two different things are there. So here, had it been the first one, we'll write E, but this is reduction, so RED means reduction. And in this case, I'll write E only, but this will be OXD means oxidation. Clear? So this E reduction, in shortcut way, I've told you how to represent this, isn't it? So Zn2 plus slash Zn, and here it will be EZn slash Zn2 plus. This is how we represent it. It has a value when it is oxidized, it has a value when it is reduced. But what is it? That also you have to know. Look here, when was this potential developed? That you have to know, isn't it? So to know about this development of potential, that is, you are taking a metal rod, that metal rod, you are dipping it in a solution of its own, isn't it? Iron has to be there. If I take zinc, then I have to dip in zinc solution only. If I take copper, I have to dip it in copper solution only, isn't it? So here, what will I say about electrode potential? Okay, so write down the definition of electrode potential first. When a metal rod is dipped in a solution containing the same metal ion, yet dipping a metal in a solution which contains the same metal ion, then what will happen? Then a potential difference is developed. Then a potential difference is developed between the metal rod and the electrolyte. Okay, potential difference is developed between the metal rod and the electrolyte, which is called electrode potential. So a metal rod dipped in a solution which contains the same metal ion, what will happen? A potential difference will be developed. That potential difference between the metal rod and the electrolyte, we call it electrode potential. This electrode potential, I have already told you, may be because of oxidation or it may be because of reduction, so that we can relate it. Okay, if I had taken it like this way, look here, E, if I say Zn slash Z, or the first one we had is Zn2 plus slash Zn, then this one represents reduction. E Zn2 plus slash Zn, this represents reduction, so we can write down E reduction. And if I had written E Zn slash Zn2 plus, then this one is E oxidation. And this oxidation and reduction potentials, the values is same for the metal. This will be equal to this, but the sign will be opposite. Magnitude same, but the sign is opposite. So you have to know about this relation. Okay, understood? So here, just those who have joined late, I'll just tell you, we have just started galvanic cells. Galvanic cells, what is happening? Chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, means chemical reactions will take place and electricity will be produced. Okay, this all we had done last day only. Oxidizing electrode, anode, and reducing electrode is your cathode. Clear? A metal rod is dipped in a solution which contains the same metal ion, zinc in zinc ion, copper in copper ion. Then in that case, what will happen? When I dip it, then either oxidation can take place or reduction can take place. You can see here in the first case, zinc ion from the solution takes 2 electron from the metal rod. So metal rod loses 2 electron, so it becomes positive, and zinc is gaining 2 electron, it becomes neutral. So the solution is becoming negative and the metal rod is becoming positive. Same way here, the metal rod has a neutral zinc. That neutral zinc leaves its electron on the metal rod only and goes into the solution. So in that case, what is happening? It is oxidation, isn't it? The metal rod becomes negative because 2 extra electron is there, and this positive ion goes in the solution, means it becomes positive. So oxidation and reduction, they are producing different charges here. Reduction means it is cathode, so in case of cathode, the metal rod is positive and the solution is negative. In case of anode, the metal rod is negative and the solution is positive. So this you have to know. When I am dipping this metal rod in the solution, then in that case what is happening? A potential difference is created. That potential difference, we call it electrode potential. That electrode potential may be because of oxidation, then we'll call it oxidation electrode potential. It may be because of reduction, then we'll call it reduction electrode potential. So oxidation potential and reduction potential, they are related by this relation. The same magnitude but opposite sign. What is electrode potential? We are taking a metal rod, dip in a solution which contains the same ion. A potential difference is developed between the metal and the electrolyte, and that potential difference, we call it electrode potential. Clear? But the problem here is the metal and the solution, they are together. They have one single interface, isn't it? And that's why what will happen? You cannot measure this electrode potential in a half cell. how much is the electrode potential, if I want to measure it here only, then it is not possible to measure it, because these two ions are together it will always seem to be neutral. Clear? So it is not possible to measure the electrode potential of a half cell. Okay, it is not possible to measure the electrode potential of a half cell alone. It is to measure the electrode potential of a half cell, that means of an electrode alone. Okay, if it is connected to another half cell, then we can, in a galvanic cell, we can find the potential difference. But if it is alone, a single half cell you are taking, then in that half cell we don't know the electrode potential. There's no way you can measure the electrode potential. Clear? So to measure it, we have to complete the half cell, galvanic cell, isn't it? So to know about this, how to calculate, we'll complete the galvanic cell. So what is a what does a galvanic cell look like? So if I take this galvanic cell, then a galvanic cell contains two half cells, the oxidation half cell, the reduction half cell, and these two cells are connected with a salt bridge. Okay, so a galvanic cell consists of two different electrodes connected with a salt bridge. So we have to know about this salt bridge also, isn't it? How the connection takes place. So two different electrodes connected with a salt bridge. Okay. Okay. One of the metal electrode undergoes oxidation and forms the anode, while the other one undergoes reduction and forms so one is forming anode, which is oxidized, and one is forming cathode, which is reduced. Clear? So let's take a diagram and then see what this looks like. Okay, look here, two half cells. So I can represent it like this. This is one half cell. You can have another half cell here. So these two rods are made up of two different metals. They cannot be made up of the same metal. Okay, they are not made up of the same metal. Two different electrodes, we have already said, isn't it? So let's take it like this way. One of them, suppose the one which we have already done, zinc, then this will contain Zn2 plus ion. Other one I can take silver, then this will contain silver ion. Isn't it? These two are half cells, and these two half cells we are going to connect it with the help of a salt bridge. So if you see the salt bridge looks like this. It's a tube only which is upside down. We have a tube like this, and this tube, the salt bridge, is filled with an electrolyte, means salt solution. Okay, this is a salt bridge. Salt bridge means it will be filled with salt. So salt can be anything. It could be KCl, NH4Cl, anything. Suppose I am taking KCl. Then this has to be in a solution. So we'll see that. Okay, and here, since we have taken two metal rods, out of the two metal rods, what happens? One of them is zinc, other one is silver. That means if one undergoes oxidation, the other one will undergo reduction. So how will you know which will be oxidized and which will be reduced? Out of the two, which of them will undergo oxidation and which of them will undergo reduction? To know about that, what we are going to do, always remember, out of the two electrodes, the one having more reactive metal will be oxidized. Out of the two electrodes, one having more reactive metal will be oxidized and the other will be reduced. So we have enough things here. We have zinc and we have silver. Which is more reactive? Now tell me, hurry up. Which of these two is more reactive? Zinc and silver, which is more reactive? Zinc is more reactive. Good. Okay, so zinc is more reactive means you can say zinc, I can say more reactive, and this is less reactive. So more reactive will be oxidized. So this is oxidized and this one will be, isn't it? So if I take these two, then the one which is oxidized, that is zinc. So this is your oxidizing half cell and this will be a reducing half cell. whichever is your oxidizing half cell, what will it form? Whichever is oxidizing, what will it form? Oxidizing one will always form. This is oxidizing, so it will always form anode, and reducing will always form cathode. Zinc is forming the anode and silver is forming the cathode. This is a complete galvanic cell, and in this complete galvanic cell, what you can see here is a salt bridge is used. So salt bridge you have to know in details. Clear? A galvanic cell, if I say, it has three parts. We have already said here at the top. In always galvanic cell you have the what is called oxidizing half, cell. You'll have the salt bridge, and you'll have the reducing half cell. So these are the three parts of a galvanic cell. Oxidizing, what happens, we have already done. Reducing, what happens, that also we have done. So mainly we have to know about the salt bridge. Okay, so let's study more about the salt bridge here. This you can see here, it is in the form of a tube which is bent in the form of U. Okay, what is this salt bridge? You can say this salt bridge is a tube in the form of U, isn't it? And is filled with a salt solution. This salt bridge is filled with a salt solution, because it has to conduct electricity, means it has to be a salt solution. Now this solution, if I say it is a solution, the U tube, the salt bridge, you can see, is inverted. So can it hold a solution in it? No, isn't it? The salt bridge is inverted, hence any solution in it will flow out. If I fill it with any solution, it will flow out, isn't it? If I put it in water, put it there, it will flow out. Hence, it is not dissolved in water. Okay, so what is done in that case? You can say, hence the salt is dissolved in a gel like solvent. It is not dissolved in water or any other thing, it is dissolved in a gel like solvent. Okay, that is a gel like solvent. Example is agar solution. Agar agar is gel like. Okay, hence the salt is dissolved in gel like solvent to avoid the flow. Okay, and the ends of the salt bridge are plugged with cotton buds. Okay, if there is any drip in the gel like solvent, that can also flow out, isn't it? So that's why we put a cotton bud there. Okay, cotton is porous and ions can pass through it. We are not using rubber or any other thing, we are only using cotton. Why cotton? Cotton is porous and through that ions can pass. Ions can pass means they can conduct electricity. That means here when I am taking this KCl, if I take, then that KCl is dissolved in a gel like solvent. That gel like solvent is agar agar, and this end here and this end here, what we'll put? Cotton plugs. Okay, the two ends we are closing it with cotton plugs. Cotton is porous, so the exchange of ions can take place from it. Clear? So we have taken the salt bridge. Now once the salt bridge is taken, what we are doing? We are dissolving it in a gel like solvent, agar agar, don't forget. That KCl will be dissolved in agar agar. We'll fill the tube with this solution and then we'll plug it with cotton plugs. Okay, so if I take this salt bridge, this is how we form it. But what is the main function of this salt bridge? What does a salt bridge do? A salt bridge connects the two electrodes, that is half cells. A salt bridge connects the two half cells and completes the circuit. It connects the two half cells and completes the circuit. And in doing so, what else does it do? Look here, the most important thing which it does is it completes the circuit and neutralizes the two electrolytes of the two half cells. The two half cells, they have electrolyte. Those two electrolytes are charged. That charges are neutralized by this salt bridge. Clear? So how does it happen? Look here, I'll show you this again. Okay, just now we have seen this portion here. In cathode, the metal rod becomes negative and the solution is positive. And in anode, the metal rod becomes negative and the solution is positive, isn't it? So the same thing is happening here also. First one is a cathode. So cathode means the metal rod here is negative and the solution is positive. This is a anode. No, this is a anode. Anode, the metal rod is negative and the solution is positive. This is a cathode. In cathode, the metal rod is positive and the solution is negative. And I told you, when they are close together, when they are together, you'll never be able to measure the potential difference. So now, with the help of the salt bridge, what happens? Look here. Salt bridge means we have Ka plus Cl minus. That also in a solution. Solutions can flow, isn't it? So this is K plus and this end is negative. So this K plus starts moving in this direction. It will reach here, and in this case what will happen? There will be exchange of ions, and therefore this solution here, the negative solution here, is neutralized by K plus. K plus comes to this corner, means this solution is neutralized. Same way Cl minus. What will Cl minus do? Cl minus has to travel this way, and it will travel this way, means it reaches the other end. Cl minus travels this side now. It travels this way, it reaches here, and at that point what will happen? It will neutralize the positive of that one. Positive zinc ion solution will be neutralized, isn't it? So K plus is neutralizing one solution, Cl minus is neutralizing the other. So once those two solutions are neutralized, we have only two rods, zinc rod which is negatively charged and silver rod which is positively charged, and they are far away from each other. They are not in contact with each other. So therefore, now you can just connect a voltmeter, and when you connect a voltmeter, it will show you the potential difference. That means potential difference of this electrodes can be measured, because the solution has now become neutral. Clear? So that way what you can say, this galvanic cell, when a salt bridge is added, it neutralizes the two electrolytes. Remember that this is a very important point. If they are not neutralized, then you can never get a. The main thing is the two liquid has to be neutralized, then only you can measure the potential difference. Okay. So here, if you are mainly talking about a salt bridge, it connects the two electrodes, that is one of the thing, completes the circuit is another, neutralizes the two electrolytes. These 3 points you have to know. Clear? Then salt bridge also you know now. We can use any salt actually. That details of your salt is not there in your syllabus actually. Which salt we are going to use, that part is not there in your syllabus. Today we'll do this much only then. Okay.